sure to check out Angel's Geeks for your figures and collectibles. This video and YouTube channel is rated PG-13, so that means this channel is not for anyone under the age of 13. So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Mafex Medicom toy X-Men comic version Cyclops. So let's get into it right away and take a quick look at the box. So as you can see, we do get a very basic looking style box when it comes to Medicom toys. So we do get the window right there in the front of the box. On the top left, it does resemble a comic book, which is pretty dope. And this is actually Mafex's 99th figure, which is also pretty cool. And then the bottom there, we do get an image of the figures. So Cyclops, X-Men, Cyclops comic version action figure, Marvel, Mafex, and Medicom toy. And then the bottom of the box here, we do get the barcode and blah blah blah, so nobody cares about. And here's the top of the box, pretty cool looking. And then the one side here has an image of the figure. The other side of the box has another image of the figure. And then the back here to show a bunch of pretty cool poses you can get the figure into, along with most of the accessories. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this figure, but to take a closer look at Scott Summers, my least favorite X-Men character. And they keep making damn figures of him instead of Gambit and Nightcrawler and Sabretooth. What the hell's going on? Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look at Scott Summers here, and before I continue on, I just want to bring up or mention the price tag on Mafex figures. Now, people, I always see them say these figures are damn near $100 or $100. That's because you're buying them from US retailers, and US retailers, for some reason, want to hike the hell up. Out of the price, they almost hike it up double for some reason. I don't know why they hike it up so much, but the original retail price on these figures are around $65. They're not $100 figures. Just because you're going through Big Bad Toy Store and buying these instead of maybe like a Japan retailer where you're paying the retail price doesn't mean that's their retail price. The retail price is around $65, which is like the same price as a Figma or a Revoltech figure. So continuing on here, the detail I think turned out pretty good on this Cyclops. It has a very 90s Cyclops look to it, which looks pretty good, man. An issue people do have with the figure is the harness or belt. They say the belt is riding up too high, which it's not. That's how his belt did look back in the 90s, so it's definitely not riding up too high. That is how Cyclops wore his belt slash harness in the 90s, or that's how he was drawn back then. But the head sculpt here I think looks alright. It's not too bad. There's subtle shading on it. It's barely noticeable. I think they could have added a little more paint detail to bring out the sculpt a little bit better. The visor looks dope. I think they did a nice job with that. Looks like a little bit of red paint is bleeding over here. And then where the blue meets the skin tone, pretty clean paintwork. Same with where the brown for the hair meets the skin tone. And then the yellow for the visor around the ears has some pretty clean paintwork as well. And I do dig the sculpt of the hair. They did add a black wash all throughout it, which looks great. So very nice job on that. And then the torso here, I love the blue color that they chose for Cyclops' costume. And we get a beautiful shading all throughout it. And it looks really nice, man. That blue definitely does pop on the shelf. And it does pop with the mixture of that very bright yellow also. And then the harness and the belt looks pretty good too, man. The X symbol on the belt and the harness, very clean paint on that, and it is sculpted and everything. And the sculpted lines on the harness, I feel like they could have added like a darker yellow paint. And then it looks like they might have, in between each pocket on the belt there. And the back here, nice sculpt and paintwork. It looks like there's like a glop of blue paint on there though. And the arms, nice shading on the blue. The only issue with the arms is those elbow joints. It's much more of a brighter blue. They need to add shading on it or something so it blends in a little bit better. That definitely is a minor issue when it comes to Mafex figures. I've noticed that on a few figures so far, even on the upcoming Carnage as well. The wristbands look good. It's just same with the straps around the legs. I noticed on the left wristband and the right leg strap, it's more of a darker yellow, and it's like this leg strap and this wristband, they missed a layer of yellow paint, so it's a little bit brighter. So that definitely is an issue right there that I'm not too happy about, and there's some very sloppy paintwork on this strap on the left leg right there. Not happy about that either, but I do like how they added a darker yellow in the sculpted line and stuff. I think that looks pretty cool. There's even shading on the hands, which I'll go over a little bit later. The legs here, nice sculpt detail all throughout it. We get the shading once again on the blue. The knee joints, though, look just as bad as the elbow joints. It's such a more brighter blue compared to the rest of the blue. It just sticks out like BAM! You know what I mean? So they definitely need to work on that, and I noticed some yellow paint right on there. And then the boots here look pretty good. We do get a very subtle yellow shading throughout the boots, which look really nice actually. And then the feet, pretty basic looking on the bottom of them. Not too much going on there, but overall, I think they did a nice job with this Cyclops. A lot of people are complaining. A lot of people do like the way the figure is. It does have a very 90s look to me, and it's not my favorite Mafex figure, but it is a pretty cool Mafex figure, and I had a lot of fun taking pictures of it, posing it around. And I think the detail turned out pretty good besides those few paint issues that I mentioned. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, Cyclops is included with some pretty cool basic-y type Cyclops accessories. So what we do get first and foremost, we do get a Mafex stand. So we have the base, the arm, and the clamp there. So definitely cool that we continue getting those with every figure that they release. And then we also get 3 interchangeable faces and 4 different types of visors. So for the head sculpt, starting on the left there, we do get the basic stern face with the regular visor, and that is the one that does come on the figure out of the packaging. Then in the middle, we do get the angry teeth gritted face, and then for the visor, we do get the smoking energy effect visor, which looks beautiful, man. I love the red translucent plastic. The higher up it goes, the more clear it gets, and I love the sculpt of the smoking energy effect as well. Really nice job by Mafex on that. My only issue is mine did break when I was first trying to remove the visor, because it was kind of stuck in there a little bit. So you need to be extra careful and cautious the first time you're popping that visor off. You don't want to risk breaking that effect piece there, because it's just connected with a thin piece of plastic. And then all the way on the right, we do get the unmasked or unvisored head sculpt there, and they did a good job with that one. It just, around the cheeks and the jaw, it looks wider or chubbier compared to the other 2 head sculpts. I don't know if that's because the other 2 have his half mask on, so it doesn't look as wide or chubby. I'm not entirely sure why the unmasked one does look like that, but they did a pretty good job with that one as well. The glasses look dope, and I like that red paint that they used on the lens of the glasses as well. And then the visors, as I mentioned, we do get 4 different types of visors. So we do have the regular one, the smoking visor. Then we do have the one that does have a hole in the middle of the visor, and that's meant for the optic blast effects, which I'll show you a little bit later. Then we do get the one where he's not using it and it just wraps around his neck for when you have the unmasked head on. And I'm going to show you how to swap all of these accessories right now quickly. Alright, so for swapping the heads and visors, it's very simple when it comes to the Cyclops here. So all you do is just pull up and the head pops right off the joint. Take the other head sculpt, push down, and there we go, as simple as that. If you want to switch out the visor, what I do is I dig my fingernail under the side of it and just give it a little push, and it pops right out there, and the visor piece broke off again. So I'm going to have to glue it. Gosh darn it. And then just take the other visor, and all you do is just peg that in like so. So you could swap all the visors between the 2 head sculpts. And when you want to put on the unmasked head sculpt, you just pop the head off like before. Take this visor, just place it over the neck there, and then just pop the unmasked head on. And the way the harness is, it kind of pushes it up a little bit, so it doesn't hang down as good. But I mean, it looks fine though once you have it on the figure. It's not too bad looking, and it's always better when you do have more display options with a figure. It makes it a lot more fun to pose the figure around. So we do get that stuff. And then we also get 2 different optic blast effects. So we do get the larger one, and then we do get the smaller one here. So we do have the smaller one here, and they look pretty good, not too bad looking. They are a red translucent plastic, as you can see, and then they painted it white midway all the way to where it meets with his eyes there. And it looks pretty good, the sculpt and everything. And they're pretty easy to get on as well. So we do get the smaller one, then we do get the larger one that has a more wide range of a blast. This is the blast effect like he just found out. Jean cheated on him with Wolverine, and it looks just like the other one, just a little bit wider and thicker there, as you can see. And it is the red translucent plastic, and they added the white paint on there as well. And I'll show you how to get these on Cyclops right now. And the way you use the optic blasts is also very simple. So you have to get this visor on that has the gap in between the middle, because all they do is just peg right in. So you have 2 ways you can get these on. You can do it like this, where it's already on the figure and you have like a little arrow or triangle at the top, and that goes on the top there. So all you do is just slide that in like so, and then there you go. As simple as that. The other way you can do it, whoops, pop the whole visor off, which you can do it this way. You can pop the visor off and then just slide the effect right through like so, and then you can just peg everything on at once. So you have two different ways that you can get the blast effects on. As you can see, it doesn't make them forward heavy or anything with the larger optic blast there. So we do get that stuff. And then we finally get 6 alternate hands. And starting on the right here, we do get a pair of fists, of course, which do come on the figure out of the packaging. Then we do get a pair of open resting type hands, which are probably my favorite out of all of them. Then we do get some, hey Jane, let's have some fun tonight hands, or his optic blast button pressing hands for when he's pressing the button on the side of his visor. But they did do a nice job with the sculpt and paint detail on all 6 hands. There is very subtle yellow shading on it, which does look nice. And the hands are also very easy to swap out as well. And like I always say, that's a good thing, because you want to risk breaking a wrist joint on your figurine. But anyway, that is all the accessories included with Cyclops. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? Now for the height of Scott Summers, to the very top of his hair, it looks like he's a tad bit over 6 inches and 1/4 of an inch tall. And then here he is compared to the Mafex comic version Spider-Man, comic version Wolverine, comic version Deadpool, and the Mezco 112 Magneto. And I think they did pretty good with Cyclops' scaling. I think he scales really well with Wolverine and Spider-Man. Deadpool, I'm not entirely sure what his height is, but I think they definitely did a pretty good job with the scale for Scott Summers. And there he is compared to the Hasbro Marvel Legends 90s Jubilee, Beast, Gambit, and the Retro Series Storm. And I think he scales decently with the 90s X-Men Marvel Legends figures. Is a tad bit short for them though. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Infinity War Thanos, the Marvel Legends Bishop, Jean Grey, and Juggernaut. And then here he is compared to the Storm Collectibles Sector, the Marvel Legends Retro Series Deadpool, the Mafex Justice League Batman, and the Figma Black Swordsman Guts. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for Cyclops' articulation, he does have some pretty good movement. I noticed a few issues though. My right, just the leg joints have looseness to it, which I'm not happy about. And then even when I bring the arm up a little bit around here, it kind of droops down. I mean, I have to keep moving it and it will stay, but see how it moves down a little bit, so I'm not happy about that. Another thing is where the neck joint connects into the neck, it's so damn tight. I don't know if they did that because of his blast effects or something, but Jesus, that joint is super duper tight. So a few issues with some of the joints there, but we do get 2 joints at the neck here. As you saw, the upper neck joint is kind of bent a little bit, like what we've been seeing with their previous comic version figures. So with both joints, you can get Cyclops to look up pretty much all the way, which is definitely good. Oh my god, that lower neck joint is so tight. Holy crap. See what I mean? You can't even move it really when you have to like move it manually when you take the head off. Both joints going forward, he could pretty much look directly down, so that's good. You do get pivot at the upper neck. Oh, man, that joint's really tight. And then you do get pivot at the lower neck. That's weird too. When I swivel it, it pops off the joint there. I noticed in Robo's review on the Fwoosh, he did have that issue as well. So that is another QC type issue right there. So needed to mention that. Then you do get swivel at the lower neck as well. I wonder if the other heads also do that. Then we do get a point of articulation at the torso and the waist there. So with both those joints, Cyclops does crunch forward really well, and both those joints goes back really well. But the further back you go, it's going to lift up the belt with certain poses too. And some poses you can't really bring it all the way down. Well, actually, I was kind of able to there, so it looks weird when it's like that. But it does go back decently. You do see a gap at the waist and at the torso there. Then you do get pivot at both those joints. Excellent pivot, actually. You do see a little bit of gappage, though. Really nice pivot at those joints. Then you do get swivel at the waist, and you do get swivel at the torso. They're on, like, barbell type joints. Then the arms here, we do have a very nice circular motion out of the shoulder there, and I noticed these shoulder joints, you could push them in and then you could pull them out as well, so that's actually pretty cool, kind of like the SH Figuarts Iron Man figures. But then moving the arms out to the side, they do go out a little more than 90 degrees, so that's definitely dope. They do go up and down. We do have the true bicep swivel, and no issue like the issue we had with Wolverine. Then we do have the double jointed elbows that bend in all the way, so that's definitely awesome. Then the wrist joints, we do have a ball hinge, so it does swivel and hinges back and forth there. Then the legs here, we do have the drop down leg joints, and Cyclops can kick forward 90 degrees, goes to the, whoops, don't force it too much or it'll pop off the joint, goes to the back just a tiny bit. Let's see if Scott Summers can Jean-Claude Van Damme it, and he cannot, but pretty close, not far away from 90 degrees there. Then we do get the hip swivel there, as you can see. I hate how that joint's loose, man. That's not good at all. Then we do have a double jointed knees that do bend back pretty much all the way. Then the ankles here, we do have a ball hinge, just like the wrists, so they do swivel. They hinge up really well, hinge down pretty well, and then we do get regular pivot, but if you move the hinge side to side, you pretty much get a 90-degree bend ankle pivot, which is awesome. Then we do have a nice toe hinge. So overall, just like with other Mafex figures, the articulation definitely is there, and as I mentioned before, I did have a ton of fun posing this figure around, taking pictures of Cyclops here, and you're going to be able to get him in some pretty cool Cyclopsy like poses, and I'm about to show you some of those poses right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the Mafex comic version Cyclops. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure with detail, I'd give it a 7.5. Articulation, I'd give it a 9. Accessories, I'd give it an even 8. And then the overall quality, I would give a 6.5. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did have mine imported from Japan from AmiAmi, but my buddy from Ageless Geeks did just get this in stock, so you can check over at their website at agelessgeeks.com. And when you check out, use code name Daredevil, you will get yourself a little bit of a discount. If you can't find something on the website, I do highly recommend going through their Instagram or Facebook page. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, oh well, I guess you didn't like it. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. Figure, which is also pretty cool. On the bottom, we do get an image of the figure, so Cyclops, which is pretty dope. And then let's get this figure. Let's get this figure. Deadpool and the Mezco 112 Magneto. Magneto. The Mafex comic version Spider-Man comic version. Whoa, what the heck? With these 90s style Marvel, the Marvel Legends Bishop, Jean Grey, and Bagaba. Let's keep moving on with the rest of pressing hands, where he's pressing the button on the side of his optic. Damn it. Damn you! And the way you get the optic blasts on is very easily, such a thin piece of plastic, so be extra. Damn that fridge. Second time during this review.